Welcome to the best 100 curiosities about video games that only authentic gamers know. Let's begin. 1. The first video game in history was not Pong, but Tennis for Two, created in 1958, 4 years before Space War. Another pioneer saw the light. 2. The yellow color of Pac-Man was chosen because, as the primary color that stood out the most on the black arcade backgrounds, it ensured players saw him instantly. 3. The ghost Blinky in Pac-Man becomes faster and more persistent when few dots remain to be eaten, a behavior players nicknamed Cruise Elroy to increase difficulty at the end. 4. The legendary franchise. The Legend of Zelda was inspired by the adventures of exploration of its creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, in the forests and caves near his home during his childhood. 5. Link's iconic phrase of "Hi-ya" and "hup" when attacking was the producer Eiji Aonuma's own voice, recorded in a single take, because he had a cold and his voice sounded unique and hoarse. 6. Mario was originally called Jumpman and was designed as a carpenter in Donkey Kong, but was later changed to a plumber to make the action of going down pipes make more sense. 7. The sound of collecting rings in Sonic the Hedgehog is the digitized voice of composer Masato Nakamura, saying the word ring in Japanese, but heavily distorted. 8. In Super Mario Bros., World 1-1 was designed as an invisible tutorial level, teaching players to jump over enemies with the Goombas and to break blocks with the first question block. 9. The sound effect when taking a Super Mario mushroom is the same one used when Mario grows, but played at a faster speed and with a higher pitch. 10. The famous end credits song of Super Mario Bros. Is called Ending Theme and was composed by Koji Kondo in just one day because he had forgotten he needed to compose it. 11. Solid Snake's full name in the Metal Gear saga is David, a fact that is not revealed in the games, but in the comic book version written by Hideo Kojima. 12. The game over screen in From Software games, like Dark Souls, is less frustrating thanks to their extremely fast loading times on new generation consoles. 13. Kirby's design was originally a simple white and round placeholder that developers used temporarily, but the team liked its simplicity so much that they kept it. Flixitadan. 14. The word Pokédex is an acronym for Pokémon Index, and in the original games, it only had information for the 151 species of Kanto. 15. The character of Bowser was named that in the West, because the word Koopa in Japanese is pronounced similarly to Koopa, which derives from the Korean word for turtle, Gooba. 16. The most famous bug in video games is the missing no in Pokemon Red and Blue, which appears when the coastal graphics data is corrupted. While we're 17, the Nightmare difficulty mode in Doom Eternal was a fan idea that the developers officially implemented after seeing its reception on social media. 18. The music for Green Hill Zone in Sonic the Hedgehog was composed with a Yamaha synthesizer because the sound team did not have access to a real orchestra. 19. The first Easter egg in history was not an adventure, but in the arcade machine Starship 1, where programmer Ron Milner hid his name by performing a specific sequence. 20. In The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, the Forest Temple was the first dungeon designed and served as the basis for testing the game's puzzle and combat mechanics. 21. The sound effect when picking up a rupee in Zelda is the same as opening a chest, but played in reverse and with an echo filter applied. 22. Master Chief from Halo was designed so that the player would never see his face, allowing them to better identify with the character during the adventure. 23. The popular Street Fighter phrase, Hadouken, is not correct Japanese, but a made-up word that means fist wave of energy. 24. The fastest game to be completed is the classic Dragster for the Atari 2600 with a time of only 5.57 seconds. 25. The small print in the credits of Grand Theft Auto. San Andreas contains fake names and internal developer jokes, including a tribute to their pets. 26. In the Mass Effect saga, the character of Tali actually shows her face in a photograph in the third game after years of mystery for the fans. 27. The name of the character Cloudstrife in Final Fantasy VII was chosen because the developers wanted a name that sounded soft and vague, like a cloud. 28. The shotgun sound effect in the original Doom is a combination of a real shot and the sound of a creaking door recorded at ID Software Studios. 29. The famous song Still Alive from the end of Portal was written by Jonathan Coulton in just 2 days and sung by Ellen McLean, the voice of GLaDOS. 30. During the development of Half-Life, the character of Gordon Freeman was going to speak and have dialogues, but it was decided he should be mute to increase player immersion. 31. The game Myst was the best-selling video game in history for almost 10 years until it was surpassed by The Sims in the year 2000. 32. Samus Aran's iconic armor in Metroid was inspired by the design of the Predator suit from the science fiction movie of the same name. 33. In the Fallout saga, the Pip-Boy was originally designed to be worn on the left wrist because most players are right-handed and it wouldn't interfere. 34. The villain Ganondorf in The Legend of Zelda has Gerudo blood, a race that only gives birth to one male every 100 years, which is why he is unique and a born leader. At 35, the music for the Aquatic Suite in Minecraft was composed by C418 using the sound software of an old modem. 36. The character of Lara Croft in Tomb Raider originally had large breasts due to a programming error that unintentionally made them grow 300%. 37. In the game Silent Hill 2, the fog that limits visibility was not an artistic effect, but a technical solution to render fewer polygons on the PlayStation 1. 38. The name of the console Nintendo Wii was originally going to be Revolution, but it was changed to Wii because it was shorter and easier to remember worldwide. 39. In the development of Resident Evil 4, the game went through at least 4 completely different versions before reaching the final design we know. 40. The sound of collecting coins in Super Mario Bros. Is a recording of a Japanese temple bell sound, but sped up and with a more metallic tone. 41. The famous Windows blue screen of death briefly appears as an Easter egg in the game Watch Dogs if you hack a specific computer. 42. The most expensive game developed to date is Star Citizen, with a cost exceeding $400 million in crowdfunding. 43. In the game The Last of Us, the infected spores were added as a stealth mechanism, so the player would have to use a mask in certain areas. 44. The Sims' voice is not an invented language, but recordings of phrases in Ukrainian and Japanese that were then distorted and mixed. 45. The design of Master Chief's helmet in Halo was inspired by a drawing an artist made of a futuristic soldier with a V-shaped visor. 46. In the game Bloodborne, the transformation of characters into beasts is a metaphor for the loss of humanity and the rise of animal instinct. 47. The famous 3 red discs error on the PlayStation 2 was caused by a laser problem that could not read double-layer discs correctly. 48. The Halo theme song was composed by Martin O'Donnell, who mixed Gregorian chants with orchestral music to create an epic and spiritual sound. 49. In the game Dark Souls, the extreme difficulty was not the main goal, but a consequence of wanting to create a coherent and challenging world. 50. The character of Kratos in God of War was originally not going to have the chain blades, but a longsword, but it was changed for a more dynamic attack. 51. The sound effect when Link opens a chest in Zelda is the same as drawing the sword, but with a long echo and a deeper tone. 52. The famous death scene of Aeris in Final Fantasy VII almost didn't happen because the developers debated a lot about the emotional impact on players. 53. In the game Cuphead, the animation was done entirely by hand with the techniques of 1930s cartoons, which took years of work. 54. The name of the company Nintendo means "leave luck to heaven" in Japanese, a phrase that reflects the nature of the card games with which the company began. 55. In the game Red Dead Redemption 2, the horses have testicles that shrink in the cold, a detail of realism that the most observant players noticed. 56. The Super Mario Bros. Theme music was composed by Koji Kondo on a piano, and then transcribed to the limited sounds of the NES chip. 57. The first game to have a credit sequence was Sega's Drag Race in 1974, where the names of the programmers appeared. 58. In the Dead Space saga, the design of the necromorphs was based on real distorted human anatomy to create a sense of discomfort and terror. 59. The famous leap of faith in Assassin's Creed was inspired by a scene from the movie Robin Hood, where the character jumps from a tree to a carriage. 60. The sound of Boba Fett's attack in the Star Wars games is a mix of an air rifle and the sound of a motorcycle engine. 61 in the game. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim, the dragons speak in the Dovazul language, which was completely created by the game's writers with its own grammar. 62, the famous Minecraft start screen with the title in blocks, was created in only 10 minutes by the artist Marcus Persson before an event. 63 in the game. BioShock, the phrase, "would you kindly," was used as a mental trigger to control the protagonist without him knowing. 64, the sound effect of the Master Sword's beam in Zelda is the same as a recording of real thunder, but filtered to sound more magical. 65, the Sega company was originally called Service Games, and was dedicated to importing arcade machines for American military bases in Japan. 66, in the game Overwatch, the character of Tracer was the first to be designed, and her teleportation ability defined the fast and dynamic gameplay. 67, the famous cow from hell bug in Diablo was a bug that made a normal cow turn into an extremely powerful and lethal enemy. 68, the music for the island theme in Animal Crossing changes according to the time of day in real time to reflect the rhythm of village life. 69, in the game Fortnite, the default dance was animated using motion capture from a professional dancer at Epic Games' studios. 70, the character of Sonic was designed with red shoes because they were the ones Michael Jackson wore in his Bad album, and the Sega team loved the style. 71, in the Metal Gear Solid Saga, the memory card frequency that saves Meryl can be found on the back of the original game box. 72, the sound effect when completing a line in Tetris is a digitized version of the traditional Russian song Korobeniki. 73, the famous airport scene in Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, was controversial because it forced the player to shoot innocent civilians. 74. In the game Death Stranding, the concept of connecting people through loneliness was inspired by the creator Hideo Kojima's feeling of isolation. 75. The first game to use the achievements or trophy system was Xbox 360, with its achievement system, which other consoles later copied. 76. Navi's voice in Zelda, Ocarina of Time, "Hey, listen!" was recorded by the Japanese voice actress Kaori Mizuhashi, and then adapted for the West. 77. In the game Cyberpunk 2077, the design of Night City was based on the architectural styles of Tokyo, New York, and Barcelona. 78. The famous 49-year-old miner bug in Fallout 76 was a bug that allowed players to duplicate items infinitely. 79. The music for the Mega Man 2 theme was composed by Takashi Tatishi, who was inspired by 1980s progressive rock bands. 80. In The Witcher. 3. Wild Hunt, the cat school armor was designed with a hood to make it more similar to the book descriptions. 81. The sound of Captain America's shield in the Marvel games is a combination of a real metallic hit and the sound of a car bumper. 82. The famous line, "War has changed," from Metal Gear Solid 4 was recorded by actor David Hayter in a single take with a deep and somber tone. 83. In the game Stardew Valley, the character of the Grandpa is based on the developer Eric Barone's own grandfather, who inspired him to create the game. 84. The sound effect of Tracer's teleport ability in Overwatch is a recording of a walkie-talkie with interference, sped up. 85. The company Atari owes its name to a word from the game Go that means I go, or I am ready in Japanese, a sign of movement on the board. 86. In the game Hollow Knight, the main character's design was inspired by insects and anthropology to create a coherent and biological world. 87. The famous Big Head Mode Easter egg in the NBA Jam games was a secret code that programmers left to make the game more fun. 88. The music for Princess Peach's theme in Super Mario Bros. 2 was composed using a waltz melody to reflect her sweet and regal personality. 89. In the game Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, the resurrection mechanic was inspired by the Japanese mythology of immortal warriors. 90. The lighter sound in the Resident Evil games is the same as a real Zippo lighter recorded at Capcom's studios. 91. The famous "You Died" death screen in Dark Souls was created with a simple font and a black background to maximize visual impact and frustration. 92. In the game Borderlands, the CL shading animation style was chosen to differentiate it from other shooters and give it a unique visual identity. 93. The sound effect of the portal in Portal is a recording of an electric energy field, but processed to sound more stable and scientific. 94. The company Ubisoft was founded by 5 brothers from the Guillemot family in Brittany, France, starting with video game distribution. 95. In the game God of War, 2018, the world's serpent Jormungandr was designed with a friendly face so that Atreus would not be afraid of him. 96. The famous Sims dance was animated using motion capture of real dancers, but exaggerating the movements to make it more comical. 97. The music for the city theme in Final Fantasy VII, Midgar, was composed by Nobuo Uematsu, using synthesizers to create an industrial environment. 98. In the game League of Legends, the character of Teemo was voted as the most hated by the community due to his stealth gameplay and poisonous mushrooms. 99. The sound effect of collecting coins in Crash Bandicoot is a recording of real coins falling into a metal tray. 100. The first game considered art by the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA in New York, was Tetris for its perfect design and global cultural impact. If you're left wanting more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to not miss anything. And now on the screen, you have 2 videos that you're sure to love.